Hey guys, welcome to Homework Help for Year 5, Term 2, Week 7. On page 7, question 1 says, in how many ways can 6 boys stand in a line? Okay, so to understand this question, let's pretend there's only 4 boys. If we can work out how many ways 4 boys can stand in a line, then we can possibly do 6 boys. Okay, so the question is asking you how many ways can you rearrange 4 different people in a straight line? Okay, so let's maybe see this as a diagram. So I prepared a little diagram here. So we have these boxes at the top here. These are the positions. So you could have the first position, second, third, or fourth position. And let's see, we got 4 people. So who are they? Well, let's just call them boy A, boy B, boy C, and boy D. Okay. So we're gonna list all the possible positions and all the possible ways we can rearrange them. So let's look at the first one. How many people can I put in the first position? Well, there are 4 people, so therefore I can put any of those 4 people in the first position. So the first position could be boy A, or it could be boy B, or boy C, or boy D. There's only 4 people, A, B, C, D. Now, if the first position is given to boy A, who could possibly be in the second position? Well, the second position could be boy B, or it could be boy C, or it could be boy D. Okay, now let's continue this. If we go this way, okay, if A was first and B was second, who could possibly be third? Well, you could have a C as third, or you could have D as third. Now, if A was first, B was second, and C was third, and who could be last? Well, that could only be D. But if we go this way, where A is first, B is second, and D is third, then who is possibly last? Well, this could only be C. Okay. Now let's go this way. If A was first and B was second, how many people can we put in the third position? There's only 2 left, so we can only have 2 possible boys that could be in the third position. Okay, if A was first and C was second, we could have possibly B is third or D is third. And then we're going to fill this next one, the fourth position. If A was first, C was second, B was third, then who could possibly be the fourth one? There's only 1 person left, and that is A, B, C, D. Okay. And yeah, that's right, yeah. Now if A was first, C was second, and D was third, then who's possibly last? Well, that could only be B. Okay, so you can imagine when I fill this out, if A was first and D was second, who could possibly be third? Well, you could only have either a B or C, and on this side will be C or B. Okay, we can rearrange them like this. So this one, you could think of it this way. This one you could have, it could be A first, then B, C, D. Or you could have A and then B was second, but D and C is mixed, is flipped. Okay. So as you can see, there are how many possible ways? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible ways. Okay. For just that, all of these possible ways is having A first. Okay. So as you can imagine, if I fill this out, how many possible ways are there? Well, I'm not gonna really fill it out, but you can imagine that there are in the beginning there are 4 possible people we can put in the first position. But after you have 1 person in the first position, how many people can be in the second position? Well, there are 3 left. And then how many people can be in the third position? There's only 2 left. And then the fourth position, there's only 1 left. And you can see there, look, right? There are 4 possible people can be in the first position, but in the second position, there's only 3, no matter how you think about it. So let's look at the second one here. B, if B was first, you could only have A as second, or C or D. See, So there's only 3 possible people that can go in the second position, right? And if you fill this out, I'm just gonna do this real quick. Okay, this could be A. Okay, I'm not gonna fill out the rest, but you can already see what's happening here. If I want to find out how many possibilities, how many possible ways, how many possible combinations, I can just count all this, right? Or I can just do multiplication. There are 4 lots of 3. Okay, each one has 3, 4 lots of 3, and 3 lots of 2. Each one of those 3 has 2, and then 2 lots of 1. So the way we work it out is we do 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, because there are 4 ways to do 3 ways. Okay, 4 times 3 times 2 to 1, and you can get the answer there. So 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24. So you can sit there and count that and get 24, or you just do multiplication like this. Okay, so that didn't actually answer our question, because the question says how many ways can 6 boys stand in a line. So now that we've done 4, we can do 6. So let me just get rid of this. So there are 6 boys, so imagine you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many and this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Okay, how many people can we arrange for the first position? Well, there are 6 boys, so therefore there are 6 possible people that can be there. Actually, I'll put 6 down here. 6. After one person is placed in the first position, how many can be in the second position? Well, there's 5. And then we can continue the pattern. Well, there's going to be 4 here, 3, 2, and 1. And what we do with the numbers, we multiply them, just like we did with the when there was 4 people. We did 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? But now there's 6 people, so there's 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that will give you all the possible combinations. So this will be 30. This will be 12. Actually, I'll just do it step by step. So 30 times 4. Okay, so these 3 will be 120. 120 times 3 will be 360. 360 times 2 will be 720, and there's your answer. So just write this down. So the answer for the first one, yep. Okay. So the answer for this one is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And the answer is 720 ways. Okay, next one, question 2. At Ben's Burger, there are 4 entrees, 4 mains, and 2 desserts. How many 3-course meals are there to choose from? Okay, so imagine this is a similar question to our first one, where we have to arrange things and see how many possible ways we can arrange them. So the first one is the entree, second one is the main, and the third one is the dessert. So it's no longer about first, second, third, but different types of meals you can have. Now the first one, how many entrees are there? There are 4, right? So let's say we have there are 4, so we put 4 here. How many mains can we have? We can have 4 types of mains and 2 desserts. What do we do to these numbers? Well, we multiply them and we get our answer. Okay, so it's very similar to this one, except it's not people, it's just different types of food. So you multiply them and you get all the combinations. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32 possible ways to choose. So 32 ways, or different courses. Alright, next one is you have 11 people at the party all shook hands with each other. How many handshakes were there? Well, alright, 11 is a bit of a high number, so let's try with a smaller number. What we're going to do is we're going to try and see what happens if there's, let's say, 4 people. If we can work out 4 people, we can work out 5, we can work out 6, we can work out even higher numbers up to 11. Okay, so imagine we got 4 people. We got A, B, C, D. We got these people. Now let's see how they're gonna handshake each other. So for Mr. A, who can he handshake? He can handshake with B and C and D. What about looking at from the Mr. B's perspective? B can handshake with A or C or D. Okay, these are all the 4 people. Who can C handshake with? Well, C can handshake with A or B or D. And then finally, who can D handshake with? Well, D can handshake with A or B or C. Alright, so what do? We got, if there are 4 people, we got 4 people, how many possible handshakes are there? Well, as you can see, there are 4 people. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. And each person can handshake with 3 other people, right? So 4 times 1 less than itself, which is 3. So this is, we can say this is 4 times 4 take away 1 less than itself. Okay, so if we had 5 people, let's say we had 5 people. So A, B, C, D, E. The way we deal with 5 people is 5 times 1 less than itself. So that 5 times 4. Does that make sense? Because one person, so let's look at Mr. A. Mr. A can only handshake with 4 other people. He's not going to handshake with himself. That makes no sense. Who handshakes with themselves, right? So if there are 5 people, that means there's only going to be 4 other handshakes. So you multiply the 5 by 1 less than itself. Okay, now this would normally be the answer, but we have a problem here. Okay, so the formula is not complete. I'm trying to get to a generalized formula. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is multiply the number of people by 1 less than itself. So in this case, we have 11 multiply with 1 less than that will be 10. Okay, but there's a problem. Let's have a look here. Now notice how when A handshakes with B and B handshakes with A, this is not 2 different handshakes, but it's actually 1 handshake. Okay, well, what about when I do, let's try a different color, maybe try green. What happens when I have A handshakes with C, and then you got C handshakes with A? Okay, so there's double of every handshake here, isn't it? As you can count it, A and B. Oh, let me just do that. Hold on. A and B, B and A. Okay, that's been double counted. So it should not be 2 handshake, but that's counted as 1 handshake, not 2, because it's the same people handshaking each other. What about A and C? A and C is also C and A. Okay, there's double of everything. So therefore, let me rewrite this so you can clearly see. Oops. Okay. So A handshakes with B, A handshakes with C, A handshakes with D, and D handshakes with C. Now these two, these two are, where is it? Here. These two are the same. Okay. A and C, C and A, there's the same. A and D, D and A, they're the same. Alright, let me try green now. B and C, same as C and B, so they're the same. B and D is same as C, is same as B and D, they're the same. And then lastly, we have C and D is the same as D and C. So you see, there's been double count of everything. So what we're going to do is this. The formula, remember the idea of counting how many handshakes there are, is we take the number of people, which is in this case there's 4 people. 4 we multiply by 3 because each person can only handshake with 3 people. But then you have to divide it by 2. And the reason we divide it by 2 is because we double counted everything, right? A handshakes of B is exactly the same as B handshakes of A. That's counted as 1 handshake, not 2. So therefore we have to divide it by 2 because everything has been double counted when we did 4 times 3. Now 4 times 3 is 12, 12 divided by 2, therefore there are 6 possible handshakes. Okay, and there's your answer for this scenario, but that's not the answer in the question. Okay, so let's go back to the question. Let me just rub this out. Now the question says there are 11 people. So what we do is we take 11, multiply by how many handshakes can each person do? Well, there's 11 people, each person can only do 10 because they don't handshake with themselves. And then we have to divide it by 2 because there's going to be double count of every handshake. So this will be 110 divided by 2. You work out the answer and then leave it there. Alright, next one. A family decided to sell their house worth $178,000. If their house was sold at 10% less than it was worth, how much did the family receive? So what the question is saying is that their house is worth $178,000 and you're gonna reduce this by 10%. Okay, so how do we reduce it by 10%? Well, we need to find out what this amount in dollars is. Okay, because this is already in dollars, but when we find the 10%, so this is 100%. Okay, we're going to take away 10%. But I want to know in terms of dollars how much 10% is. I can't just minus 10%. Alright, so let's work it out. To find 10%, now 10%, this 10% is of this amount, of the original amount. So we need to find 10% of $178,000. Okay, so let's see. 10%, now we can't just work it out like this, so let's change 10% into a fraction. Now 10% as a fraction is 10 over 100. The word of means times in mathematics, and this number is just a whole number, so it's 178,000. And because this is a fraction, let's change this one into a fraction as well by putting it over 1. Any whole number can be put into a fraction by putting over 1. For example, the number 37. If you want to turn it into a fraction, it's just 37 over 1. Okay. All right. So now we can start multiplying. Now, because we're multiplying, we can start canceling out the zeros from top and bottom. So let's look at this one here. I can cross out the one there, and let's look at these two here. Okay, I can just cross out the 1 0 from the top, 1 0 from the bottom. So now you have 1 over 1 times it by 17800 over 1, which is 17800 over 1. So 1 times that is that, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so therefore 10% of 178,000 is equal to 17,800. Alright, so now all we gotta do is we want to find what this is. We want to find out what happens when you just do a subtraction. So you just have to do a subtraction and you get the answer. So let me rub this out. What I mean by that is this. You do 178,000, take away 17800. Okay, there you go. Work it out and you will get the answer there. Question 5. A farmer has goats and hens. Okay, so goats and hens. If there are 16 heads and 44 legs altogether, so let's think of that in terms of heads and legs. And altogether means a total, so let me just put that here. Altogether. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a table. This is fix this table. Okay, it's not the best looking table, but it'll do. Now, how many goats are there? So let's see what information we have. We have that there are 16 heads altogether. So if we count all the animals, so whatever number of goats heads we have, a number of hen heads altogether, there should be 16. So we have a 16 altogether. So this number 16 is the total of this plus this. Okay, it's just a total. So alright, now the number of legs of this animal plus the number of legs of this animal will give us a total as well, and the total we have is 44 legs. Okay, so now it's just a matter of guess and check. We have to just guess different types of numbers to see what works and what doesn't. So for example, let's try, I don't know, 1 goat. If there are 1 goat, how many hens are there? Well, remember each animal only has 1 head. So if there are one head, it means there's only 1 goat. Alright, if there are 1 goat, there must be 15 hens, because 1 plus 15 will give you 16. Okay. Now 1 goat has how many legs? Well, each goat has 4 legs, so 1 times 4, there's only 4 legs here. Now hens has 2 legs, so therefore if there are 15 hens, how many legs are there altogether? So 15 times 2, because each hen has 2 legs, that makes it 30. Alright, let's add them up. 30 plus 4 will give you 34. Oh, that's not correct, because we want 44, right? Okay, so we gotta try again. This is guess and check. So 1 goat didn't work, and 15 hens didn't work. So let's try another number. Let's try 5 goats. If there are 5 goats, actually let's try 6 goats. Let's try 6. If there are 6 goats, how many hens are there? Well, there has to be 10 hens, because 6 plus 10 is 16. Now, if there are 6 goats, how many legs are there altogether for all the goats? Well, each goat has 4 legs. I'm just going to put 4 here. Each goat has 4 legs, and hen has 2 legs. Okay, so each goat has 4 legs, so 6 times 4 will give you 24. There are 24 legs for all the goats. Now, each hen has 2. So therefore we can say if there are 10 hens, so 10 times 2, and that equals to 20. Now 24 plus 20, does that give us 44? Oh, it does actually. So therefore we guessed it. The answer is there are 6 goats and 10 hens. If you change the number of goats or hens, it wouldn't add up to 44 legs. So it has to there's only one possible way, and that is 6 goats and 10 hens. And the question says, how many goats are there? Well, we worked it out. There's 6 goats. So the answer is 6 goats. If they ask you how many hens there are, you can say there's 10 hens. Okay. Alright, moving on to the next page. Okay, to enclose a square plot of land with each side 12 meters, posts were placed 2 meters apart with a post at each corner. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw the square. It's a poorly done square there. So let me try again. Okay, that'll do. Imagine that's a square. I know it's not perfect, but alright, now it says what we're going to do is we want to place posts were to enclose a square plot of land with each side 12 meters. Posts were placed 2 meters apart with a post at each corner. Okay, so we need a post at each corner first, so let's do that. Now each side of the square is 12 meters long, so this is 12 meters by 12 meters. Now it says posts were placed 2 meters apart with a post at each corner. 2 meters apart. Okay, so imagine from here to here is 12 meters. 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. Now what does this 6 mean? It doesn't mean 6 posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. It doesn't mean that this doesn't mean 6 posts. Okay, this means 6 gaps. Because if you have 6 posts, it wouldn't work. Look at it. You got 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Adam, how many gaps are there? There are 5 gaps. This makes only 10 meters, but we have 12 meters, so that's not correct. So what that means is this: you have 6 gaps, right? So if you have 6 gaps, let me just get rid of this. 6 gaps require 7. If you have 6 gaps, then you will have 7. What do you call it? 7 posts. The number of posts is always 1 more than the gap. So post equals to gaps plus 1. So if gaps is 6, post must be 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay. So let's have a look. We're gonna draw. We need 7, so I need to divide this into 7 posts. Okay. I'm just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we got 7 posts, including the corners. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now I know they're not drawn perfectly, but each one is 2 meters. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And you can see that there's 6 of them, right? Which makes 12, which makes sense. 12 meters altogether, which makes sense. Okay. So now that we've drawn one side, you can imagine what the other side is going to look like. Now one side has how many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each side has 5. Okay, so you got 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. So there's 4 times 5, which equals to 20, plus the corners. The corners is 1, 2, 3, 4, so plus another 4, and the answer is 24. Okay, so the answer there is 24. It's good to draw the diagram. I mean, you don't have to do it, but you can actually see what's happening when you draw the diagram, trying to solve for the problem, for the answer. Alright, next one, question 7. A piece of string is 4.12 meters, is shared between 2 people, A and B. If A's piece is 24 centimeters longer than B, find the length of each. Okay, so imagine we have 2 pieces of string. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. Okay. Alright, now the second string is actually 24 centimeters longer. So this, so from here to here, so imagine A's piece. So imagine this is B's string and this is A string. It says A string is 24 centimeters longer. So that means that from here to here we got an extra 24 centimeters, right? But we know that together both of their strings add up to 4.12 meters. By the way, 4.12 meters, let's change the centimeters. So you times it by 100 to get centimeters, and you get 412 centimeters. Alright, so together we have a 412 centimeters. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add these 2 strings together. So let me just draw that real quick. So here, here, and here. Can you imagine that this one is B string, and this is A string? Now A string is made up of B string plus another 24 centimeters. So what you do is together is 412. So you take 412, take away 24. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, 12 take away 4 is 8. This will be a 3. 11 take away 3 will be a 8, and this will be 3. Okay, so that means this. It means that this whole string from here to here wait, let me just draw that again. Hold on. From here to here is 388. Okay, but 388 can be divided into two strings that is the same length as b. So you take 388 and you divide it by 2. Alright, so 3 divided by 2, that's 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Do a subtraction and you get 1. Bring the 8 down. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. Do a subtraction, no remainder. Bring the 8 down. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Do a subtraction, no remainder. So the answer, that means that B's length must be 194 centimeters, because everything here is in centimeters, right? Now A's length is also 194 plus another 24, because A length is same as B's length plus 24. That's all. So therefore, I'm just gonna rub all this out. Alright, so A's length says find the length of each. Okay, so A is, let me just work it out, 194 plus 24, this will be 8, this will be 11, so 218 centimeters, and B's length is 194 centimeters, and you're done. Okay. Alright, next one. 3 people, P, Q, and R have 180 in total. If R has 30 more than Q, let me just rewrite this. Okay, so we got these 3 people, P, Q, and R. Alright, now it says if R has 30 more than Q, so R is comparing itself with Q. Okay, so R is comparing itself with Q, and then it says and P has 12 less than Q, so P is also comparing itself with Q. So everybody's comparing themselves with Q. So if we can figure out what Q is, we can figure out what P and R is, isn't it? According to logic. How much does Q have? Okay, so we need to figure out how much Q have. So we just let Q be an unknown number. Let's call it box with a question mark. Now R has 30 more than Q, so R has whatever Q has, which is a box of plus 30. Now it says P has 12 less than Q, so P has whatever Q has, so P, whatever Q has, minus 12. Okay. Now it says how much does Q have? All right. So we have this information, but we also have one more information, and that is the 3 people PQR have $180 in total. So what does that mean? So what it means is if I add all of these numbers up, I will get 180. Alright, now you're wondering, how do I add this up, right? Okay, no problem. So let's think of it like a balance beam. Here's a balance beam. Now balance beam is when things are equal on left and right hand side, they balance nice and straight. So here we have 180, and that's worth the same as all of these add together. Okay, so let's add them together. How many, let me see, how many boxes do we got? We got 3. If I add them together, I'll get 3 boxes with a question mark. They're all the same value. I'm gonna add with 30 and take away 12. What happens when you add 30, take away 12? So imagine whatever the value here, you add 30, and then you take away 12. Well, let's find out. What's 30 take away 12? 30 take away 12 will give me 18. So that means when you add 30 and take away 12 is the same as adding 18, okay? Let me just rub this out. So here, look, I'll show you on a number plane that you can see. So imagine this is 0. Okay, these are your 3 boxes. you're going to add 30. So now this is 30, but then you take away 12. So 30 take away 12 will give you 18. That means you're back to 18. That means that you've only added a total of 18 from where you started, right? So instead of saying plus 30 and then take away 12, I'm just gonna write plus 18. Plus 18. All right. Now we can rub this out. Oh. Wait, that didn't work. Okay. So over here you have a balance beam. Now, in order for things to be balanced, they have to be equal. So what I'm going to do is I want to work out how much each of these boxes is worth, because once I work it out, I can figure out the answer here. So we have to, you see this 18 here? Let's get rid of it. Let's take it off the balance. But the moment you take off the balance, this will be lighter, and then it'll be like this. It'll be like this now. Now you have 3 boxes, okay? And now you have 180. And now this is lost 18, okay? But we don't want this. We want it to be equal. So if you take away 18 from there, you take away 18 from here as well. Okay, so now let's redraw this balance beam. Okay, so now this is 180, take away 18. What is 180? Take away 18. This will be a 2. This will be a 6. 162. So now you have 162 is equal to 3 of these boxes. So again, I'll say it again. If I take away 18 from this side, I'll just take away 18 from this side, and then the balance beam will still be balanced. Okay. So now we have 3 numbers that add up to 162, and they're all the same numbers. So you do 162 divided by 3. We want to see how much each of these is worth. All right, let's see. 100. So 16 divided by 3 would give me 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Do a subtraction, we get a remainder of 1. Bring the next number down, 2. 12 divided by 3 will give me a 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Take away, you get a remainder of 0. So therefore, the answer is 54. So that means that Q, we found out that one of these boxes is worth 54. And there's your Q. Now the question says, how much does Q have? It doesn't ask you for R or P. But if we wanted to find R, well, this one is 54 plus 30, right? Because the box is worth 54. And that will be 84. So R has 84, Q has 54, and let's see what P has. Well, P has 54, take away 12. What is that? 54 take away 12 will be 42. 42. And as you can see, we have the value of all 3 people. If you add all these up, you will indeed get 180. Okay, but they're only asking for how much Q is, so therefore Q is equal to $54. And there's your answer. All right, moving on. Let's just rub this out here. Okay, next one says a monkey ate 180 bananas in 3 days. Okay, eating 6 more bananas than on the previous day. How many bananas did the monkey eat on the first day? So, how many days? We got bananas in 3 days. Oh, okay, so 3 days. So let's look at the first day, the second day, and the third day. On the first day, the monkey ate a certain number of bananas. We don't know how much it is, so we're going to put it as a question mark, a box with a question marks. Okay. On the second day, it says the monkey ate 180 in total, but each eating 6 bananas more than on the previous day. So whatever the monkey ate on the previous day, the second day is going to be the same amount plus 6 more. And on the third day, the monkey eats whatever he ate on the second day plus another 6 more. So the monkey on the third day ate that plus another 6 more. Okay. Now, all together, the monkey ate 180. So, how much did the monkey eat? Let's just add all of this up. Okay, so because it says in total, so we have a box plus with a a box plus 6 plus a box plus 12, right? This will be 12, right? So therefore, how many boxes we got? We got 3 boxes, so 3 boxes add together. They're all the same amount. Plus with plus 6 and plus 12 will be plus 18, and that equals to a total of 180. Okay, so now what we do? What number add with 18 gives 180? So let's do 180 again, take away 18, which will give you this will be a 162. I think it's the same as the top one here. Okay, so that means that these 3 numbers have to be 162, because 162 plus 18 is 180. Okay, but they're all the same numbers. So 162 we divided by 3, we're going to get 5. This will be 15, take away 1, take away 15, you get remainder 1, bring a 2 down, so that's 12 divided by 3, that gives you a 4. So therefore, again, each one of these boxes represents 54, just like the first question, similar. Okay, so now we know that the box represents 54. Now it says how many bananas did the monkey eat on the first day? Well, let's have a look. You can have a look here, and you can see that on the first day the monkey ate one. Let me just rewrite this. Whoops. On the first day the monkey ate 1 box. Okay, and we know that 1 box is 54, so therefore on the first day the monkey ate 54 bananas. Done. There's your answer there. Next one says the distance between town A and B is 200 kilometers. Okay, so distance equals to 200 kilometers. A train left town at A at 9 a.m. and arrived at B at 1 p.m. Okay, what was the average speed? So how long did it take for the train to go from A to B? It took from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. is 4 hours. Now to find the speed, we just do the triangle. Distance over speed times time. So we want to find the speed, we cover up the speed, and that's just distance over time. So equals a distance over time. Distance is 200, time is equal to 4. So what's the speed? You work it out, it will be in kilometers per hour. Next page. Darren sold apples for 25 cents and oranges for 15 cents. He collected $3.40 in total, and when he sold 16 fruits. Okay, so again we have these guess and check questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to have apples and oranges. And we're going to have total. Okay, then we're going to draw a table up like this. And over here we're going to have let me see, how do I do this? This would be the number of fruits. So fruits, how many apples and how many oranges, and a total number. So now we know the total number of fruit is 16 fruits in total, so therefore this number has to be 16. Whoops, low power. Oh, my battery's running low. Okay. Now the next one is the cost. The cost. Whoops. Now we know that the total cost was $3.40. Let's just make it into cents, because I mean this is already in cents and this is already in cents, so let's just make it into cents. So instead of writing 340, I'm going to change it to cents, so that's 340 cents. Okay. Now, an apple cost how much? Apple cost 25 cents. And 25 cents, and oranges cost 15 cents. All right. So now we do guess and check. So imagine we bought, I don't know, 10 apples. If we bought 10 apples, that means we bought 16 oranges, because 10 plus 6 must be 16 total fruits. Now each apple costs 25 cents, so what's 10 times 25? That's equal to 250 cents. Now we got 6 oranges. What's 6 times 15? Each orange is 15 cents, so 6 times 15, and that'll give us 90 cents. Alright, 250 cents plus 90 cents. Does that give me 340 cents? Oh, actually it does. Okay, well, I just had a very, very good guess. Normally it takes me a couple of tries, but in this case I just did it once and I got it. So we guessed it correctly. Find the number of apples sold. So the answer for that is just how many apples were sold. Well, there are 10 apples. 10 apples were sold. Okay. Question 12. Stephen has spiders and canaries. Another guess and check question. All right. So what we're going to do is make the table. We got spiders and canaries. Now canaries is a type of bird. Now, so what we're going to do is, okay, the total. Oh, that didn't work. Alright, okay. Now what else do we have? We have okay, we have, so this is number of animals. There are 16 heads, so we have heads and we have the legs. Okay, heads is, I mean, each animal only has one head, so if I said there are 3 spiders, that's 3 heads. Okay, so same thing. Or you could just say, we could just say number of animals. So heads, or you could say the number of each animal. Okay, for spiders, so we want a total of how many? Let me see. There are 16 heads, so there's a total of 16, and 92 legs. So spiders have how many legs? I believe they have 8 legs. Oops. So let me just write that in. And canaries have only 2 legs. The bird only has 2 legs. So now we just do guess and check. 16 heads. So let's try 10. Just try something easy like 10 and 6. 10 and 6. They add up to 16, right? Okay, 10 spiders. That's 10. That's 10 times 8, because each spider has 8 legs. That's 80. And we have canaries. That's each canary has only 2 legs, so that's 6. 6 canaries. 6 times 2 is equal to 12. Does it add up to 92? Oh, another lucky draw. Okay, I've got yes, so it does add up to 92, which means that I guessed correctly. If you try different numbers, it wouldn't add up to 92, so therefore we worked it out in one go. Now, it says how many spiders and bird does he have? So they want the answer for both animals. So you just tell them. Alright, well, the answer is there are 10 spiders and 6 canaries. Okay, and you're done. Alright, next one is these clue questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this thing. I don't need that. Now, it says Drew's sport receives more votes. Drew sports with more votes than the girl. Okay, so first it talks about boys and girls. So Drew is, I believe it to be a boy, Mark is a boy, and Emily is the girl. So there's only one girl here. So Drew's sport received more votes than the girl whose favorite sport is swimming. So the girl's favorite sport is swimming, so we put a tick there. But fewer than baseball. So Drew's sport received. Okay, so you got Drew. Drew is more in terms of votes. Okay, he's more than, so Drew. We got the girl. and we have the other person, which is Mark. So that means this is Emily. So Drew got more than Emily, but fewer than Mark. So that means Drew must be in the middle. So Drew must be 6. And then it's fewer than Mark. Mark must be 10. And then the girl must be, let me see, the girl must be the 3. Okay. Now it says Drew's sport received more votes than the girl whose favorite sport is swimming. So the girl's sport must be swimming, but fewer than baseball. Now who got fewer than baseball? Mark is the one that got, he's fewer than Mark, and that person has baseball, so therefore Mark must be baseball, and then Drew must be football because that's the only one left, and there's your answer there. Alright, last page. Alright, these are the revision questions that we always do. You'll see these kinds of questions in the tests very often. So let's just practice these ones. Do division, we do it like this. Whoops, I forgot to. Okay, so let's do 67.5 divided by 5. First we take a 6 and we divide it by 5. Okay, 6 divided by 5 is 1. And then once you get a 1 there, you multiply these two together to get the number at the bottom, and we subtract. So 1 times 5 is 5, and we do a subtraction. 6 take away 5 is 1. Now we bring down, once we're done, bring down the next number. So bring down the next number there, so bring it down to there, and you get 17 now. 17 divided by 5. 17 divided by 5 is 3, because 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so once you do that, you do subtraction. You get remainder 2, bring the next number down to 5. Okay, 25 divided by 5 will give you exactly 5. 5 times 5 is 25, do a subtraction, you get no remainders, and there's no more numbers to bring down, so we're done. Now the question, let me just rub this out real quick. The question was 67.5, so therefore the answer must be 13.5. Okay, the way we know it's 13.5, so to find out where the decimal goes, just think about this one. 67 is roughly how much? Roughly 70? Now what's 70 divided by 5? 70 divided by 5 will be around about 14, right? So the answer should be close to 14. If 70 divided by 5 is 14, 67 must be 13 something, so therefore the decimal does not make sense to be put here. Okay, that'll be 1.35. It has to be here, which is 13.5. Okay, now our next one is question 2. Okay, so this is the question here. So 9 over 10 plus 3 over 5. In order to add fractions, you must make the denominator the same, so you must times this one by 2, so you times the top one by 2 as well. What you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. Okay, so we got, the question becomes 9 over 10 plus with 6 over 10. And the answer is 15 over 10, which can be simplified. I'm just going to rub this out for room. We can divide the top and bottom by 5. So divided by 5, divided by 5, and that's the process of simplifying. Okay, so that's going to equal to 15 divided by 5 is 3, 10 divided by 5 is 2, and the answer is 3 on 2. You can leave it like that, it's fine. If you really want to, you can change it to mixed numeral, and that'll be 1.5. Okay, next one, you got 0.6 times 0.04. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn these decimals into whole numbers. Now to turn into whole numbers, I must move decimal place to the right. For this one, I'm going to have to move it once. For this one, I'm going to move it twice. So altogether, I have made 3 moves to the right. Okay, now that they're whole numbers, let's multiply them. 6 times 4. 6 times 4, we know the answer is 24. And decimal's right there. Now, because we moved the decimal to the right 3 times in our question, in the answer we must move it back 3 times. Okay, so let's just put a couple of zeros in front of our number to see where it lands. And now decimal place gonna move 1, 2, 3. It's going to land right there. So therefore, this is going to be, we don't really care about this 0 anymore, okay? All we need is the first 0. So 0.024, and that's your answer there. Okay, next one, this is one here. We're going to add some numbers with decimals, so to add them up, we have to put 8.7. Now, add with 6, add with 0.22. Okay, now some of you might be thinking, oh, this is how we add, decimals, right? Wrong. Well, the reason is because this 6 is a whole number. All the whole numbers should be on this column here. Okay, so therefore, when you write the 6, you can't put it wherever you want it. You have to put it where it belongs. There's a 6 there. Now, anything that has no value, like for example, this column has, it's missing values here. Okay, just put zeros for it. So that now decimal place is always in the same column. So therefore, there's a decimal place here, and there should be anything that has no numbers. Just put zeros. Now we can add. Okay, the first one is 2, second one is 9, and the next one is 14. And the answer is equal to 14.92. Alright, next question, question 5. We're doing subtraction. So 3.1 take away 0.44. Okay, again, we have, there's a missing number there, so we put a 0. If there's nothing there, put a 0. Okay, do a subtraction and you should get the answer. You can do that yourself. Next question. Okay, so this is question 6. So the question is, what is 3 and 1 6 plus with 3 and 3 over 5? Okay, to add this, what I'm going to do is, let me see. I'm going to add just I'm going to change it into improper fraction first. Okay, there's many ways you can do this, but this is the most makes the most sense for most people. So I'll show you this way. So what you do is you change it in improper fraction. So this one is going to be 3 times 6, that's 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. So we have this one here, 19 over 6, and we're adding it with 3 over 5. Alright, now again, to add fractions, we must make the bottom number the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to times this one by 5, times it by 5, and time this one by 6, times it by 6. Alright, so what we're going to get is this. We're going to get 19 times 5 is 95. 5 times 6 is, so 5 times 19 is 95. 5 times 6 is 30. Plus, now 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 5 is 30. So now we have the same bottom number, denominator. So we can just make that into 30. 95 plus 18 is what? Let me just double check that real quick. 5 plus 8 is 3. This would be 10, 13. 113. Okay. Now we can change it back. We say how many 30s, well, this is an improper fraction, so we can change it back to mixed numeral. We say how many 30s go into 113. We know it can't be 4, because 4 times 30 will give you 120. That's bigger than 113. So we know it's going to be 3 and something. So the answer is going to be 3. And what? Well, what's 3 times 30? 3 times 30 is equal to 90. Now 113 take away 90 is equal to 10 plus 9, 26. So therefore 26 out of 30. Okay, so there's your answer, but we can simplify this answer. Look at the fraction here. I can divide them top and bottom by 2. So therefore it will turn into, let me just change this one. This will turn into 13 and this will change into 15. So the answer becomes 3 and 13 on 15, and there's your answer there. Okay, it's a long, complicated process, but you'll get used to it. All right, next one, question 7. Now, question 7 is this question here. Do not confuse the 7 in there, that's just a question number, okay? So the question is this one here. Now to multiply fractions, we have to change this one to improper fraction. So 1 and 2 over 5 will turn into 1 times 5 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So this becomes 7 over 5. Alright. So now 7 over 5. Let me just rewrite that here. And now we're multiplying it by 3 over 8. Okay, so when we multiply, we try to simplify. You look at the top and bottom. Can I simplify anything? No, that doesn't work. How about that? Nope. How about that? Nope. Okay, and how about this? Nope. Can't simplify things, you just multiply it across. This will be 7 times 3 over 5 times 8. Now how do we do that? Just multiply it across. We get 21 over 5 times 8 is 40. And there's your answer, you're done. Alright, next one is divide. Okay, first, again, we must change it to improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So the top number must be 9 and the bottom number must be whatever the fraction was. It'll be over 2 because this is a 2 here. Divide by 3 on 5. Now when we're dividing fractions, all you gotta do is flip the second fraction upside down. So now you have 9 over 2, and then this will be 5 over 3. And we change a divide into a times. So now just times it. But when you're multiplying, we can simplify. So what can we simplify here? Remember, one from the top, one from the bottom. I can see the 9 and the 3 there. They're both divisible by 3. So I can divide this by 3. Divide this by, whoops. Divide it by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3. Whoops. Rewrite that. So the question changes into 3 over 2 times it by 5 over 1. And that gives you 15 over 2. And there's your answer. You can change it to improper or you can leave it like this is fine. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, so both answers are acceptable. Question 9 says increase 800 by 6%. Okay. First we got to find out what 6% of 800 is. 6% can be written as 6 over 100 times it by, of means times. 800 is a whole number, so we put 800 over 1 because we want to change it into a fraction. Now we can just cross out the zeros because we're multiplying, we can do that. One from the top, one from bottom, one from top, one from bottom. So now you have 6 times 8 over 1 times 1. 6 times 8 is 48. 1 times 1 is 1, and you have 48. So 48 over 1 can be written as just 48 because it's a whole number. Remember, anything over 1 is a whole number. Okay, so therefore, it says increase it by 6%. Now we found out that 6% is 48. So it means increase 800, increase means plus, increase it by 6%. But 6% is 48, so therefore we increase it by 48. So the answer is 848. Alright, next one. Next one says find the amount if 30% is 42. Now 30% means 30 over 100 as a fraction, okay? From percentage to fraction. Now we can simplify this. Cross out the top and bottom. So that's 3 over 10. So imagine you have, oh, actually let me draw that again. Hopefully that can rectangle. Nope. Okay. Try again. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I've got this rectangle, and imagine this is my amount. This rectangle represents my amount. So imagine I divide this into. I'm going to divide it. I want a 3 out of 10. So I'm going to divide it into 10 pieces. Okay, and I want 3 of them. So 1, 2, 3. And 3 out of 10, this is 3 out of 10, is 42. That means that this whole thing is equal to 42. So the question is, what is the whole amount? Well, in order to find the whole amount, I must find out how much each of this is worth. They're all the same. Okay, so we take 42. So let me just rewrite it here. We take 42. We divide it by 3. So let's do that. I'm going to do long division for that. This will be 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Take away, you get remainder of 1. Bring the 2 down. 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that means that each of this is 14. 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, and so on. They're all the same amount. Okay, so what is the whole amount? Well, there's 10 blocks and each one is 14. So 10 times 14, and the answer is 140, and you're done. So the whole amount must be 140. Excuse me. How many years in 4 scores and 3 years? 1 score is equal to 20 years. So 3 scores equals to 3 times 20 is 60 years. And we're going to add another 3 years, so the answer is 63. Altogether, there's 63 years. Change 65% into a simple fraction. So the way we change it into a simple fraction is the percentage is whatever the number is, and we put it over 100. Okay. Now we can simplify it. Okay. Well, what can we divide the top and bottom by? We can divide it by 5. When you divide it by 5, you're gonna get. Let me see. 5 divided by 5 should be 13 over 20, and there's your simple fraction. The next one says change 5 over 9 to a percentage. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you this much, is that 1 over 9 is equal to, actually I'll write it down here. 1 over 9 is equal to 0.1111, forever repeating. 2 over 9 is equal to 0.2222, whatever, forever repeating. 3 over 9 is equal to 0.333, forever repeating. So 5 over 9 is equal to 0.5555, forever repeating. Now, this is a decimal. We change from fraction to decimal. We need to change decimal to percentage. To change it to percentage, you times it by 100, which means decimal place is going to move. When you multiply a number by 100, decimal place will jump 2 spaces to the right. So now the percentage is 55.55%. Okay, but it says to the nearest whole percentage. So that means it's close to 56%, and you're done. Alright, we're nearly done. Next one says, okay, so this is a question 14 and question 15. Now 14 says 4.13 times 10. Well, what's the answer? Decimal place jumps to the right 1 time because 10 has 1 0. So the answer should be 41.3. Okay, question 15. Question 15 says 82.7 divided by 100. When you divide a number by 100, if there's a decimal will jump to the left 2 times. 1, 2. So there's a 0 there. So therefore the answer is 0.827. And that's it. Hope that helps.